Snow fell in slow, deliberate whispers that night, the kind that silenced the world and made even the busiest city feel like it was holding its breath. Amelia sat by her apartment window, wrapped in a blanket that smelled faintly of lavender and regret. Her phone glowed softly beside her, another message from another dating app, another conversation that would fade into nothing. She sighed, muttering, "They all say the same things. You look nice. What do you do for fun?" But no one ever asked how she felt when the world went quiet. It wasn't that Amelia didn't believe in love. She just didn't believe it could find her. Not here in this quiet apartment, not after the heartbreak that left her wary of promises. She joined the dating app 3 months ago, pushed by her best friend Lily, who swore the universe rewarded effort. "You can't meet someone if you never open the door," Lily said. So Amelia opened the door virtually anyway. She smiled in photos, answered questions with care, even agreed to one awkward coffee date that ended with the man asking if she could split the bill since it's modern times. She hadn't logged in for weeks. But tonight, with the storm gathering outside, the silence pressed too heavily. She opened the app again, scrolling without purpose. Then she saw a new message. "Snow makes the world quiet enough to hear your own heart, doesn't it?" It was from someone named Evan_89. His profile picture wasn't anything flashy, just a man standing near a frozen lake, bundled in a navy coat, his expression unreadable. Something about that message felt different. Thoughtful. Unrushed. She hesitated, then typed back, "I suppose it does. But sometimes silence can be the loneliest sound." He replied almost instantly. "Or the beginning of something waiting to be heard." They talked. 4 hours. About music, books, the strange comfort of small cafes on rainy days. It wasn't flirting, it was conversation that felt alive. And for the first time in months, Amelia smiled for no reason at all. But then, just as the clock struck midnight, her power flickered out. Darkness swallowed the room. She laughed softly, shaking her head. Of course. The storm outside had grown wild, the wind singing against the windows like a restless spirit. She grabbed her flashlight and checked her phone, 8% battery. Before she could type another message, her phone died. The silence returned, heavier now, lonelier. She pulled her coat on, deciding to walk to the small gas station at the edge of her street. Maybe she could charge her phone there or grab something warm. Snow crunched beneath her boots, soft and steady. The wind bit her cheeks as flakes tangled in her hair. She thought of Evan, of his quiet words about silence, and wondered who he was, where he was. Then, as she turned the corner, headlights flickered through the snow. A car had stopped near the curb, engine humming faintly. Someone stepped out, tall, wearing a navy coat. Her heart stumbled. It couldn't be. "Amelia," a voice called softly. She froze. No one here knew her name. The man stepped closer, his features lit by the dim glow of the car's lights. He smiled, not the kind that came from recognition but from relief. "I thought it might be you," he said quietly. "You left our chat before you could say goodbye." Amelia's breath caught. "Evan." He nodded once, snow melting against his hair. "The storm cut out my power too. I live just a few streets away. I came out to see if anyone needed help. And I guess I found you." She wanted to laugh, but the sound stuck somewhere in her chest. "This feels like something out of a movie," she said softly. He smiled. "Maybe the kind that ends with Coco and a story worth remembering." They stood there for a moment, strangers, yet not strangers at all, as snow fell like a curtain closing around them, sealing them inside a quiet moment that neither wanted to end. Then he gestured toward his car. "You shouldn't be out in this. Come on, I've got heat, coffee, and probably bad Christmas music." And somehow she trusted him. Inside the car, the warmth was instant, the air scented faintly of pine. He offered her a travel mug, the steam curling between them like something alive. "Do you always rescue people from snowstorms?" she asked. He grinned. "Only the ones who answer messages about silence." For the first time in a long while, Amelia didn't feel like she was waiting for something. He was in it. And as they sat there, two souls finding warmth in a cold world, she realized maybe fate doesn't knock. Sometimes it drives by with headlights in the snow. The snowstorm raged harder outside, but inside Evan's car, it felt like time had slowed. The windows fogged with warmth, and the soft hum of the heater filled the silence between them. Amelia cupped the mug in her hands, staring into the steam as if it might hold an answer. "It's strange," she said quietly. "I've talked to people for months online and none of it ever felt real. But right now sitting here," she trailed off, unsure how to finish. Evan smiled, his voice soft but steady. "It feels like it was supposed to happen this way." She looked up at him, really looked. There was something familiar in the calm behind his eyes, the way he listened without needing to speak. She hadn't realized how much she'd missed that someone who didn't fill the quiet but understood it. Outside, the snow softened to a whisper. He turned the radio on low, an old Christmas song, slow and sweet. Amelia laughed gently. "You weren't kidding about the bad music." Evan grinned. "It's tradition. Every snowstorm deserves its soundtrack." For a while they just listened. Two people who'd been strangers only hours ago, now sharing a silence that felt like peace instead of loneliness. When the storm finally began to ease, Evan glanced at her. "You should stay at my place until morning. It's warm and the roads are frozen. I promise it's safe." There was no hesitation in his tone, just simple kindness. Amelia nodded slowly. "All right." His home was small but filled with warmth, books stacked beside the fireplace, a golden retriever that greeted her like an old friend, and the soft scent of cinnamon lingering in the air. Evan handed her a blanket and poured them both tea. "So," he said with a half-smile, "do you still think online dating's hopeless?" Amelia laughed, a sound that felt lighter than it had in months. "Maybe it just needed a snowstorm and a stubborn stranger." He chuckled. "I'll take stubborn. It sounds better than lonely." She looked at him, really looked, and in that quiet, something unspoken passed between them. The understanding that sometimes, love doesn't arrive in grand gestures or perfect timing. It comes softly through broken plans and unexpected storms. Later, as the fire crackled and the wind calmed outside, Amelia whispered, "Thank you for finding me." Evan shook his head. "You weren't lost, Amelia. You were just waiting to be seen." And for the first time in a long while she believed it. Outside, the world slept under a blanket of snow, still, gentle, and new. Inside, two hearts once strangers began to thaw.